So I decided that I'm going to write a script this year. Last year, I sat down and I told you that I wanted a life of balance. I wanted a life that I could chase my dreams, but also, live a life of abundance. But I didn't know that I would set out on this journey, and I'm realizing I'm eating my own words. And it's not that, I still don't want that. I would love a life where I can, wake up at 9:30 and, go play games for the day and then, oh, maybe I'll write some of the script. But I'm realizing that there is something far more important than just balance. It's commitment. And the two go hand in hand, but I'm realizing that sometimes I set out on this journey to, make something great, but I don't have the full heart and the full brain power to continue doing it. And this year I'm going to prove to myself that I can do it despite anything that comes my way. And that's it. There's no and. I want to be able to tell myself that I wrote a script, and I want to be able to get past one done by the end of the year and take the next couple years refining it and, send it out, and or just raise money to make my own film. I'm going to do it, and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to succeed, but all I know and all that I can guarantee is my own effort. So, welcome to episode 5 of Confessions of a Storyteller. So I started a series called Writer's Journal where I basically go over my journey as a writer. It started as Writer's Journey, but I kept writing journal, and I thought it was cute because, like, Writer's Journal. I wanted to, one, hold myself accountable, and two, make content out of it. I feel like everybody loves a journey, a hero's journey, seeing someone start out and, embark on this journey. How many times have I said journey? And I think it's nice to sort of document where I am. I did skip last week, my last week of my first month of doing this, and I felt a little bad because my whole thing is I want to prove to myself that I can do it, but I have a hard time giving myself leniency, and I want to rework sort of how I'm approaching it. It was like a daily vlog. It was also like a sit down, like I sat down right here to film it, but it felt too staged. But like most content, it's scripted and there is some sort of structure that I need to follow. I would like to use the series to grow. I would like to meet other writers. I just think that I don't think my structure is right. I want to sort of open it up like, oh my god, this happened, X, Y, and Z. Something. Hi, my name's Charlize and I'm embarking on this journey, or something like that. Not as cheesy as that, but it's like, hi, like, I'm trying to write a script, and, I'm a newbie, and this is my first, feature screenplay. I'm trying my best to make this thing happen, but I don't know what I'm doing. Like, that's where I am mentally, and I've been having a lot of, like, procrastination bits. I'm also, being a writer isn't my only dream. It isn't my only thing that I want to pursue, but it is definitely something that is bigger. And I actually saw a video the other day where it was like, hey, like, God's been trying to tell you to God's given you this dream, and God's, told you to do this and give you the X, Y, and Z vision. But you haven't done anything for it. You kind of been sitting back, waiting for things to happen. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I've been procrastinating and using content as a means to seem productive, but I'm not really productive on this sole thing that I want to get done this year. And that's where, like, the second video, I think I talked about, the second video of Writer's Journal, I talked about, was it the third? No, the third video, I talked about time management and sort of trying to balance content creation and writing the script. And sure, I can make content out of writing the script, and I can practice my writing by writing content. And, there's a lot of ins and outs that I could do, and there's a lot of things that I can, make out of it, but I think, and this feels like a freaking cop out. Like, I'm gonna be so for real. This feels like a cop out if I tell myself, oh, you have to pick one. But it's also like, it's not a cop out because I want to focus on the script, but also I want to make money doing content, if I'm being completely honest, and, prove to myself that I can monetize. And, we just hit 100K. Imagine 1K watch hours on our YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, and it felt good to be in quadruple digits, I've been thinking a lot about whether or not, this is worth it. And this happens all the time when I try to, sit down and make things happen. I'm like, oh, maybe I should have gone the corporate route that I really wanted to go to when I was in college, or maybe I should go do this, or maybe I should go do that. And it's like, I'm being distracted and, being pulled to another area whenever, like, I sat myself down and I told myself, the freaking last short film, or the only short film that I've done, I've made up my mind. I've made up my mind to do this. And I keep second guessing myself. And it sucks, And there's a lot of people who, ask how the script is going. And I'm like, oh, like, I wrote a scene, I drafted out this idea that I had. And truthfully, like, I don't know. I've made up my mind, but I don't have the grit to do it. And that sucks to say. It really sucks to say that, actually. Like, I know I can do it. I know if I put my mind to it, I can do it. I'm learning that my grit isn't where it needs to be in order to do all of this. I don't know if it's my grit or my need to prove myself to other people. Because multiple people have commented on whether or not, I'm realizing the journey as a person who wants to pursue their dreams is really lonely. I want to be able to prove that I can do it. I see all these videos, I see all of these success stories of people who have made it and are like, yeah, I put in endless hours, I did X, Y, and Z, I stayed up until 3 a.m. every night, I did this and I did that, I got 2 hours of sleep every night, I worked 14-hour days, and they have all of this work that they put it into, that I forget that their success wasn't instant. It wasn't an instant gratification thing. It was something that they had actually put hours in. And we only really see people at the peak of their success, right? We see them, they're like, oh, they're this overnight success. We didn't even know who they were yesterday. But there's no such thing as an overnight success. There never was, Maybe once in a blue moon, they see someone and like, oh, I think you have potential and whatever. But there's people who put in 10 plus years of trying to make it. And this is my second year. I'm going to count last year because I told myself that I would continue with this content thing. And I told myself that I would do it because I want it. And I feel like my expertise is always growing in this area, and I want it. And that should be enough. I want this, so I'm going to pursue it. We see a lot of criticism to people who want to do this. And I've gotten a lot of criticism for specific aspects of my life that are lacking because I've decided to pursue this. And for the past month, I've been wrestling with the fact if I should just go all in or be for real about this and, get a part-time job, get my license, which I would like to do. But is me doing that appeasing? You know, like my parents, I'm so blessed to live with parents that have full support of me and, you know, are letting me sort of figure out this thing. And there's no pushing to do anything. It's just, I see that you're working and I want you to do the best that you can in this situation. And I'm forever in that privilege. I will always recognize, because I know that's not everybody's case, but I'm letting other people creep into my mind. I'm letting other people creep into my mind and try and dictate what I'm doing. And I can take criticism. I will take it and I will think about it. But at the end of the day, like, I am going to do what I think is best. And I can make this work. You know, content and writing. There may be days where or weeks that I only just work on writing. And then weeks where I only just work on content. And it, you know, I don't know if that's my balance yet. I don't know if that's where, you know, my effort should lie. But I know in my heart, writing this script is more important. Second is growing the community and growing my platforms. I want this story to change people. You know, maybe not the full person, but maybe a thought that they have. Maybe it'll change a mindset. I don't fully know what the story is about. I've just written a couple scenes. And this is where the priority and the procrastination is settling in. The one thing that I love about Studio Ghibli movies is that these are movies that you don't just watch to pass time. These are movies that sit you down, and in order to understand the movie, you need to reflect. The way that Hayao Miyazaki writes his movies will always resonate with me. And, you know, not to, you know, to be like other girls. Like, no. Studio Ghibli has a way, Hayao Miyazaki has a way to his writing that there's still that childlike wonder in the way that he writes. But there is a certain adulthood terror to how he portrays it. Like, we look at Princess Mononoke, and, you know, it's about a boy who gets cursed by this god, and he needs to figure out a way to get rid of it. And, you know, we see these beautiful landscapes, and we see I don't know what they're called, the cute little skeleton looking things. We see these spirits, and we see not only laughter, but we see the terror of industrialization and of weaponry and of war against the environment, you know. And then we have like Kiki's Delivery Service, where it's a girl trying to figure out who she is. It's a coming of age story of a witch trying to figure out who she is and trying to live independently. But then we have Boy and the Heron, where we see these reflections of Hayao Miyazaki's life, you know, portrayed through different characters, where he, you know, loses a dear friend, and he loses his mother, and he loses all of these people. And it's this story of a boy trying to do, to work through all of that. You know, losing your mother, losing a dear friend of yours is traumatic. And the way that I see Miyazaki write these movies, I want other people to see that in this script. I want them to reflect when they're you know, watching. I was gonna say reading, when they're watching the movie. I want them to feel disgust towards my main character. I want them to be angry with her, but I want them to begin to understand her. Because to understand her is to understand yourself, right? We can only view things through a lens of our own experiences. To understand others is to understand self. And that's a crazy statement that I just came up with. I don't know what that means yet for the story. I have an idea. And it's ever evolving. There's always something new that I think of. Like last night, I thought of like a whole new setting change. And I was like, oh, this could work or that could work. I just need to sit down and write the damn script. And I'm going to do that today. Every time I talk about it, I just get excited and I get this motivation. Maybe I just need to talk about the script more. Maybe I just need to tell people that I freaking want to do this. And, you know, I always think about whether or not I should tell you guys like the alias that I have for the main character. I don't even know if I'm going to keep it, so I will tell you, but I call her Sarah Hall for right now. And the name just kind of spoke to me whenever I was trying to figure out who she was. And I have a playlist of songs that I've put under that pseudonym where I can kind of feel her. That sounds really weird, but I can sort of grasp her a little bit more. And I'm very moved by music, very moved. Like I will listen to soundtracks just to sort of feel something. Like there's a specific person, David Charlize, I think that's his name. He wrote this album called The Outlaw, right? The Outlaw. I'll put it on the screen. And there's a slowed version for it, and there's a specific one called Cold Sweats that I can literally see a scene in my head where it's like, so she hasn't seen this person in a while, and you know, she has a lot of anger and rage towards them, and she sees them living a happy life over here, right? And she is thinking of them, and then she hears them, and it's sort of this moment of like that sinking feeling you see when you see someone that you've loved so much that you had to part ways with, which isn't her situation, but like, you know, that sinking feeling when you see someone you haven't seen for so long, but there's so much emotional weight with that relationship. Ugh, it was just so good in my brain, and I wrote like a outline of it. I still want to go in and work with it, but music moves me like it does any people. You know, I think music is spiritual. I think there's a lot that goes into music and making it. So, you know, if this movie, you know, comes to fruition, I think I found my composer. David Charlize, if you're out there listening, you want to work together? Not right now. I'm trying to figure out oh my god, Sarah Hall just came out of me. But it'd be an honor. I think that he's a very unique sense of his writing and composing. So I think it'd be great. Let's make this damn movie happen. Content, you know, I'll make content as we go, and you know, I'm not going to hold myself too accountable I should, but I'm going to be lenient. I'm going to try to be more lenient and figure it out. But thank you for listening. I do this to be more open with you, and to, you know, since we have Writer's Journal is my accountability. But every month I want to take those thoughts and go deeper into them with Confessions of a Storyteller. So every week, Friday around 10 p.m. CST, hopefully there is a new Writer's Journal episode out. And then every month, at the end of the month or the first week of the next, I will dive deeper into those thoughts. Your support means the world to me. Even just by watching this. It's tough and it's lonely. And I'm just now, you know, realizing that about this life that I've chosen for myself. But I pray that God guides me. And I know that He is. Please pray for me if you're a praying person. Ask Jesus to continue to be a lamp unto my feet. And to, you know, me to get my crap together. And to stop cussing. But thank you for watching. I love you guys. Jesus and I love you. He loves you even more. I heard someone say that the other day, and I was like, that's good. But I love you. Jesus loves you. And if you don't believe in Jesus, he and I believe in you. And I mean that. You are cherished. You are wonderful, wonderfully made. And your existence has more weight than you could ever know. There's a reason you're here. So stay, or I will find you. That's a threat. Okay. I love you. Bye.